Hi there, it's Bob. September 16th, 2012. I started this project of mine to keep me busy for the winter time. An RC boat, with an RC boat, which I'm building from scratch, kind of my own design, and it'll be a good experience since I just got into this about a year ago or so when I retired. Um, right now, I'm framing the boat. Um, the boat is all going to be hot glued together for now, and then eventually I will epoxy all the components and fiberglass the inside of the boat. Um, this boat is going to be approximately 20 inches long by 8 inches wide. I'm going to have a 2500 kVA water-cooled motor on it, and it's going to be driven by a LiPo 7.4 volt battery. Um, I could increase the battery, but for the first run, we're going to just use the 7.4 volts and see where we're at with the boat. See how it handles in the water. Um, I started framing it, and you'll see there's a heavy part of the boat there. I'm going to cut a lot of that wood away once the boat's together to lessen the load. Um, I think it's just a little too much weight, so I'll make it a lot lighter. Um I am trying to beef up the front of the boat, and so it handles the water. Um, so I'm going to be putting more support ribs in it, and you notice that there's some notches in some of the sections of the boat, the bottom of the boat. That's in case I ever spring a leak, any water that does come into the boat, I'll be able to see coming into the motor compartment. Um, Otherwise, I would have no means of knowing whether or not there was any water entering the boat into the bow of the boat. Um, uh, the boat here, I actually put in the mount that's going to house the 2500 kV motor, and I'm making it so that the base is removable. Um, I'm going to add some uh, nuts and bolts uh, onto the framework, so I'll be able to remove that. In this picture here, you can see I added some more ribs in the front. There's going to be many more because I want that front of the boat to be pretty strong to handle the water. Um, it has a few waves in it right now due to the fact that wood tends to bend a little bit, and I will uh, put some wood on the sides to straighten that out. In this part of the video, you'll see that there is an angled part there. That angled part is there to support the tube that's going to house the motor shaft that's going to go down to the propeller of the boat. Um, uh, as we go, you'll see I'm going to be beefing that up a little bit, putting a fish plate in there so that it'll strengthen the back of the boat, and then I'll be able to put the transom in. Here's the fish plate. Um, as you can see, I'm using clothespins, which work very well when gluing. Uh, Great for holding little pieces of wood together. But the shaft is going to be going through that framework there, and then eventually through the back of the boat, which I haven't attached yet, but will as you get along with the video. Um, need to beef that up a little bit. So I'm going to put a little spacer block in the top to make it a little more rigid when I attach the transom. And you can see the mount that's going to house the motor is in place, but it's not really secure yet. I have to come up with a means of screwing it down, which will be removable. In this part of the video, you'll see that I've added a number of more supports, and I will continue to add supports as I go. The bottom of the boat is coming along, and here I was really preparing it to add the transom, which will be done in the upcoming video. There will be a part of the transom here will be aluminum, which will make the back of the boat more secure and rigid. What I did there is I drilled some holes in that aluminum plate, and I epoxied it to the wood on the back of the transom. The area there where the fish plate is where the tube-footed shaft of the motor is going to go, and then that will be, once it's in the right position, I will put epoxy in it and build up the bottom of the tube so it has some support. The front of the boat is looking good, and it takes a lot of thought when doing this, as I'm finding out. You gotta like be a couple of steps ahead of yourself. How to get things out, how you're going to put things in, where things are going to go, where am I going to put the speed control, where am I going to put the battery, how the wire is going to be run. And here you can see the transom from the back is on the boat. I added some more supports on the side to get out some of the waves in the side of the boat, and it's starting to really take shape now. I have to add some more supports in the bow of the boat, and of course in the rear of the boat, and also underneath the motor platform there. The base, which will be removable, will be taken out at one point before I actually mount it, and I will add layers of fiberglass to waterproof it some more. I also put a coat of water proofing on the wood, as you'll see in upcoming videos. Here I'm coming up with a cabin which I made out of cardboard, just to get an idea of how it's going to look. That was fun in itself, just coming up with that. It's all out of cardboard. The hot glue gun works great. So you can see here basically what the boat's going to be looking like. You can see it with the cabin. You just don't know what the sides are going to look like, which you'll see in the upcoming videos. I have to come up with a way of removing the cabin from the boat So this way I could do whatever maintenance I need to do on the components, the speed control, the motor, the shaft, uh, the electronics. Uh, in this photo here, you could tell that the boat is getting more defined, and I've added some supports in the front there. Um, well, there's two there now, but you'll see I'll be adding more. Um, you need a lot of clamps for this job, to do this boat, and you learn to improvise a lot of your installations of many of the components, uh, as you'll see. Um, the boat is still pretty light because I'm using balsa wood. Um, but I'm gonna, like I said earlier, I'm gonna start cutting away some of that heavier wood to lessen the load for the boat later on. Here in the back of the boat, I cut out those two angle pieces to straighten out the wave in the boat, and it seems to have corrected it. And it's also going to give support to the structure of the boat. Um, and when I put the top section on the boat, the top wooden section, it'll be more secure. Um, the front of the boat is still being worked on. I added a couple more things to it, braces inside, and once those braces are hot glued and whatnot, I will be epoxying those, and then adding fiberglass sheets with the fiberglassing material. Uh, um, the uh, the cabin is now in this picture. You could tell I started building the cabin. Also out of balsa wood. Actually, it's I think they call it hemlock. It's a little heavier wood, a little more strength. Um, but the whole thing isn't made out of it. It's strictly balsa wood. Um, the design uh, is what took the time, and I'm not really sure that I'm gonna even keep this design. I think eventually I'm gonna make another cabin, which will be able to I'll be able to swap them out, so I could change the dynamic of the boat. I might make the cabin a lot lower and more speed-like. Right now, this cabin is a little higher, and we'll see how it is in the water. I think it should be all right, but I'm gonna also design another uh, cabin for it that I could swap out. Here you can tell that I finished making the cabin. Uh, I still have to make the cutouts for the windows and the portholes on the side, and of course come up with a means of mounting it to the boat, which will later be done. Here you can tell I cut out some holes, some square holes, so this way I can have some compartments in the front of the boat in which I can house the speed control and also the receiver if I need to. Otherwise, it's just going to be dead space there. Um, I'm going to fill it in with fiberglass and make some platforms in there. So this way, if I need to put anything in there, wires in it or whatever. Um, the front of the boat, uh, oh here, in this portion, you'll see I put all the side ribs in, and the boat is really coming together now. Um, I made the cutouts for the windows and the portholes, and I'm going to eventually uh, get some plastic of some sort and hot glue that in there, um, and we'll see how that goes. Um, I'm going to also put a name on the back of the boat eventually. The name of the boat I already picked out is going to be DBL Nichols, signifying that I'm 55 years old, and this is what I did during my time during the winter. Um, Here you'll see the boat is really getting a lot of framework done to it now. The front of the boat has many more ribs and it's pretty strong. All those ribs help support the structure, the skin that's going to be eventually epoxied to the frame. I did use a lot of Gorilla Glue on this. Gorilla Glue is a great glue. Uh, I used a lot of it, and it works really great. And um, you know, you wet your items down with dampen the wood, and you put a little glue on it, clamp it, and boy, that glue really holds. Um, Here I just finished gluing on the back of the transom, uh, and I'm just making sure that everything is nice and tight, as you can tell. Um, a lot of clamps, like I said, and uh, there's a lot of different ways that you could clamp things. And in this section, you'll see now I just started putting the veneer, birch wood veneer. It's I think it's like a 32nd inch thick veneer. Figuring out how to do this was a task because I really wanted to do the bottom of the boat in one piece, so I would eliminate the possibility of leaks. And I think I pretty much did a decent job of it. Um, it took a while to set up. I had a lot of planning ahead, and you need a lot of hands. But in my case, I only have two, and the rest of the work was done by different items in the room. That white jar that you see there is just a bottle full of copper pennies that I use to aid in holding some pressure against the the skin. Here, you see, I'm wiping the wood down. I'm dampening the wood up with a wet rag. Uh, I got one half of the boat glued already with the Gorilla Glue, and now I'm getting ready to perform the work on the other side of the boat. Um, so I did do the bottom of the boat in one piece. I was actually thinking about trying to do the whole boat in one piece, but it was like nearly impossible. I couldn't get a wood sheet big enough to cover the whole boat in one complete uh, section. So I decided, well, I'll use the bottom half uh, of the boat. As long as that's done in one section, that's my main uh, objective. And now I only have that one seam in the front of the boat, which I cut it really tight, and when it comes together with that Gorilla Glue, it really came out nice. And you know, after it dried, I cut away the excess Gorilla Glue and I sanded it down and made a nice uh, seam. And once the seam was sanded down, of course, then I I fiberglassed the inside of it, and then I actually started trying to figure out now how I was going to do the sides. But you see the sides of the boat, if you notice, the bottom half of the skin actually comes up past the side of the boat. So I did that for a reason, and I didn't cut it in the very beginning because it will aid in me actually putting on the skin on the sides. Well, you'll see coming up when I put the sides on. The sides are actually going to lay on that inside bead of the bottom of the boat. There's going to be like a ledge there, and once I glue it and it sets, I'll be able to cut off that excess there, and of course I'll have a seam that I have to cut. And once the seam is cut and sanded, it's a good spot where I'll be able to see it, and I'll be able to finish it and seal it up and not have to worry about water coming in. Um, this part of the boat making was really a tough thing, and I think if I had to do a boat bigger than this, I probably won't be able to do it the same way. I'd probably have to do it in like a couple of sections, like in some boats where they actually have wooden slats that they make, and then they just fiberglass the whole bottom of the boat. But this boat is not going to be fiberglassed on the bottom. It's strictly wood, and then sealed from the inside, and then I'm going to stain it and use marine type polyurethane on the bottom, and then we'll take it from there. I don't think I have a problem with water getting in the boat once I'm done with it. The sealing is going to be done well on here. I'm going to see to that. The top of the boat, I have to use one entire sheet of veneer, and then what I'll do is I'll cut a access on the top, which will be removable, and I will add the cabin that I already built to it. And that section itself will also be made to be removed from the cabin. So this way I could put a different cabin on that enclosure of the boat. But you'll see that later on in the video. It's hard to think forward that far, and your mind is always going when you're doing this. I had a lot of nights when I couldn't sleep because you get something in your head, and you're trying to figure out if it's going to work or not, and Sometimes I actually got up and just tried something just to see if it's going to work. But uh, that was a little nerve wracking, you know. Your mind is always going, which is good, you know. Um, it's good that you keep your mind, try to keep your mind sharp, and it was a really a great experience doing this boat. Um, uh, this section here now, I'm just gonna see. I'm adding a little bit more glue to the top, and spraying a little bit more water on the top edge of the bow to make that joint at the top of the boat very tight. I don't want it to be separate from the frame. Uh, the This section of the boat is going to sit now. I let it sit for almost, I guess maybe a day and a half. I wanted to make sure everything was nice and uh, uh, tight and whatnot. Um, the uh, the fun about this is waiting to see after it sits how you progressed, how the actual uh, frame is holding up and how the skin is holding up to the frame. Um, uh, and actually, when I did this, uh, uh, I have a electric steamer. I actually got to the point when I did this top section of the boat, I'm sorry, the bow of the boat. We had to bend it. I used a portable steamer that I have for clothes, and worked really well. Didn't have to be under it too long, maybe 2 minutes or so, and it gave me enough flexibility in the wood that I was able to bend it and secure it. And you could tell the way I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna keep the pressure on the uh, the skin of the boat to the frame, which was a real chore. Uh, Clamps are good, but they're pinpoint type of holding, and sometimes you need to have enough holding pressure in a whole area. Sometimes what I had to do was I had to mount uh, 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 like a small section of wood to cover a large area to keep the pressure on the skin. But uh, like I said, you get to improvise a lot when you're doing this. Um, so continue watching the video, and I will keep you updated as I go. Looks pretty good. There we go. Here's the bottom of the boat after gluing it, and you can see the seam. Here's the bottom of the boat. The seam doesn't look bad. I glued it, and you can tell the once seam came out pretty good. I sealed the inside,
and
now once
do
this
my
is
water
all
test,
taken apart,
I'll
all
know.
the clamps and stuff, I'll be able to sand that joint. And
here you can tell I just put the sides on the boat.
Here you can see I started putting on the sidewalls.
You could tell how the sidewall,
the clamps and
goes down
the
to where
elastic
the wood
waist
comes up.
bands there.
That excess has got to be cut off.
I
all
had
that
saved
foam from the glue
for doing stuff like this. Worked out great because you could hold a lot of pressure against the sidewalls with them. The back of the boat is also raised up. I have to cut all that wood down, and once that sits for a day or so, I'll be trimming all that excess stuff off of there, all that extra wood and all the extra um, glue. You see that seam? Seam came out pretty good. Over here, I have to cut off that excess there, and then try to do my best to create a good seam there. And then from the inside of the boat, what I'll do is I'll put fiberglass and epoxy. Here the boat is really shaped up. I cut the sides. The seam looks pretty good. Of course, once I sand everything down, it's going to look even better. The stain will hide some imperfection, because I know there's imperfections. But you know what? For a first boat, it was a real learning experience, and it's pretty neat to build something like this, and then hopefully once it gets warm, I'll be able to actually test it out. That's what I'm really looking forward to. You know, it's always that accomplishment that you do in life. You know, you do these little things, and you want to see what the end product is. Um, um, it's been quite an adventure with this boat, figuring out different things and working with the wood. Here, I just added a couple more framing supports in the front, and I will put some more supports along those areas where I put the braces there. Here you can see I put the shaft tube in, angled up. I got to do a lot of adjusting there. The motor is just laying there, it's not mounted. I did make the top, I stained the top. I put a temporary plastic in the glass. You see those corks there? We just came up with this crazy idea, you know. On some RC boats they use styrofoam. I was thinking, why not cork? Cork floats. So I'm going to try it out. I'm going to put some wine corks in there, and I mean, if it flips over the boat, I think it's going to float anyway. It's all wood, and have the corks in there and whatnot. It'll add some buoyancy. Here you can tell I cut the shaft, and above that it's all epoxied. The motor is in place now, and the base for the motor. Oh yeah, we're looking at the cabin here. The cabin came out all right. I got to do some stuff inside that cabin. I did waterproof all the wood prior to getting it all stained. Over here, what you're looking at is the top section that's going to close the top of the boat in. It's actually the cutoff piece from the full length sheet, which you see there. So it'll fit exactly. Those little pieces of wood on the top are going to be there as stops for the cabin to lay in, and I'll be able to just slide the cabin off the top for removal. You'll see now when it goes on there how it just sits in between those two pieces, and eventually what I'll do is I'm gonna put screws from the underside of that, so this way there's no chance of the cabin actually being blown off when it's actually out in the water. Still have a lot more work to do to it. I got to put the top on yet, but I still have work to do on the inside of the boat, so I'm not so quick to put that top lid on yet, because any work that has to be done in that section of the bow I won't be able to get to once I seal it up. So I still have to put the transom, the strut on the back. I need to put the rudder on. So I got some work to do, but it's getting there. And that's a good picture of it. Oh, here you go. I just finished putting the strut on the back. Over here right now, I only have two screws holding it in. Unfortunately, they only packaged 2 screws with it, so I have to get 2 more screws. Yeah. So these are all stainless steel. They packaged 2 screws with this here, and I have to replace them. But pick them up at least I got the like 4mm prop on and cap screws. Here you can see, excuse that phone, the space in between the shadows to the coupling on the motor. You see the 2 screws there holding down the motor base. If I unscrew that, I'll be able to disconnect the coupling and just slide the motor up and out. Here the prop is on the boat. Here's just some pictures of the boat after I put the rudder on. The rudder is on. I have to also hook up the cable, and just trying to size things up here in this video. Over here, the length of the rudder might be a little too long. I think they sent me the wrong rudder, but it's not a big deal. Once I get to where I'm going with this boat, I'll be able to see if the rudder needs to be cut. There's enough there I could cut and not affect it. I didn't put the name on the boat yet, but as you watch the video, you'll see. Here you can see I put some more framing in, and I made a housing for the speed control, and I also hooked up the servo with the cable connected to it for the rudder. The top of the boat is glued down. Here the boat is finished. I put a coat of stain on it, and I will be staining it some more, and then putting polyurethane on it. Looks like I already, in this picture here, looks like I got 1 coat of polyurethane already on it. The boat's gonna probably get like maybe 5 coats. and I'll see how it goes. Once the weather gets good, I'll probably, well, here, this is what it looks like today. Today is March 6th, and the boat looks real fine. It really came out well, and I'm really proud of the way it came out. Uh, there are things that I probably would have done differently next time, but for a first-time boat, I got to say, did a nice job on it. Uh, Valerie said to me, "Why don't you put a flag on it?" Well, I found a flag to put on it. It looks great, and I made some furniture for it. As you can tell from the back of the boat, here's another view of it. The boat really looks nice. I made the lounge chairs and the table there. You see the brass hold downs for the boat and the back of the transom there, and there's two more hold downs, brass hold downs right down underneath the chairs, as you can see in the very corner there. Um, the holder for the boat I also made had some moldings that I wasn't using anymore, and I figured, well, I'll make something up so this way I could put it on something. I'm probably going to put some more decals on it. I just haven't decided what yet, but right now the boat looks nice. These are just some snapshots that I took, and it was quite an adventure. So until next time, the next time I see you, I'll be out in the water. Alrighty, everybody, take care.